The Civil War-era contraband camps, including their origins, purpose, conditions, and the ways in which they served both during and after the war as important information hubs for formerly enslaved individuals seeking missing relatives. 1. Defining contraband of war. A legal term, contraband. At the beginning of the Civil War, Union generals, notably Benjamin Butler in 1861, labeled enslaved people who escaped Confederate territory and crossed into Union lines as contraband of war. As the war progressed and the Emancipation Proclamation 1863 came into effect for Confederate-held territories, the number of self-liberated black people viewed under the contraband policy rose sharply, especially near Union-controlled regions and border states. 2. Creation and purpose of contraband camps. Initial improvisation. Union officers, unprepared for the influx of refugees, established ad hoc camps to house and feed those who fled slavery. These camps often sprang up near Union forts, along major rivers, or close to cities under federal control, for example, areas around the Mississippi or in Virginia near Fort Monroe. Organization and support. Due to sudden mass arrivals, contraband camps were often overcrowded, lacking adequate housing and sanitation. Outbreaks of disease, smallpox, cholera, dysentery were common. Food shortages and insufficient medical care plagued many sites, despite the best efforts of relief workers. Work and self-sufficiency. Some camps arranged limited employment opportunities, such as laboring for the Union Army, farming small plots, or doing service work in nearby towns. In certain areas, freedmen were organized into paid labor units, though wages were often minimal and conditions harsh. Education and religious life. Missionaries and northern teachers set up rudimentary schools within the camps. Basic literacy lessons helped many adults and children learn to read and write for the first time. Churches or prayer gatherings offered spiritual solace. Ministers sometimes recorded marriages or births that enslavers had never formally recognized. 4. The role of contraband camps in family reunification. Gathering place for displaced people. Because these camps drew large numbers of self-liberated individuals, people scattered by enslavement sometimes encountered relatives or friends unexpectedly in the same camp. New arrivals often came with information about events in their home counties or other camps, circulating updates about who had escaped or been sold. Records and camp administrators and relief workers sometimes kept basic rosters or registers of camp residents, especially if distributing rations or allotting housing. These lists might include names, ages, and places of origin. Though incomplete, these records occasionally indicated family relationships or last known locations, providing critical leads. Post-war resource. Returning to camps. After the Civil War ended and emancipation was formalized, some individuals revisited former contraband camps if they still existed or had records to see if anyone there remembered, encountered, or had news of their missing loved ones. Word-of-mouth networks. Even if the camp itself no longer operated, former residents or administrators sometimes remained in the area, serving as valuable sources of information for those seeking missing relatives. 5. Visiting camps after emancipation. Why people returned. Central hubs. In many regions, contraband camps had become de facto hubs of black life, creating loosely connected communities where survivors of enslavement shared news, resources, and experiences. Locating friends or kin. Some families hoped that a spouse, child, or sibling might have passed through the camp. A query to camp administrators or former residents might reveal a crucial clue. For example, he left for Nashville or she boarded a steamboat heading south. Transition into Freedmen's Bureau oversight. As the Freedmen's Bureau took shape, it absorbed or replaced some contraband camps with freedmen's camps or settlement programs. People searching for relatives might speak with bureau agents stationed in or near those older sites. Agents often knew the local camp history, had access to partial rosters, or could direct inquiries to relief societies that once managed the camp. Spread of information. Shared testimonies. Former camp residents who resettled elsewhere might return to share new addresses or news of absent family members. Network of missionaries and teachers. Many aid workers rotated among various camps, carrying letters or news from one location to another, inadvertently aiding in reuniting families. Legacy and historical significance. Testaments to self-liberation. Contraband camps represent the agency of enslaved people who chose to seize freedom by crossing Union lines, even at great personal risk. Thank you. Like, share and subscribe. Oran Z.